Kokomo. Kokomo is a great rival for the city of Marion, and I like single-class basketball best because I don't know, it just seemed like the multiple class, it just took away the interest. I know there in the city of Kokomo, when you have the sectional, there's hardly anybody in those gyms. And, you know, I can understand the people that want the multiple class because they want the students, many that maybe have a championship, but I think it's rubber at best. The thing that I like most about it, the single class, is just the competitive spirit that went along with it. I know there in Kokomo, up until 53, and we talked about integration, they stopped blacks from playing basketball there in 1942. We didn't have another black player on the team until 1953. And so then with the Oscar Robertson escapade. And so I think that single class had brought a lot of class to this thing. I was there down at Hoosier Dome when Concord got beat by Damon Bailey's team. 40,000 people. I was down there a couple of years ago at the new arena, and it probably was 5,000 people there. And I know in Kokomo, most of their revenue was based on basketball to handle the rest of their sports. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Welcome.
My name is Seth Lockmuller, and I want to express my support for the single class system. I grew up as the son of a coach, and the finest memories of my childhood were watching Indiana high school basketball. In 1992, my brother was a senior while I was a first grader. My role on that team was the ball boy, something I loved to do, and I wanted to do it by myself. Well, oftentimes there would be 7 or 8 other elementary school kids there with me. At the time, it annoyed me, but as I look back, you know, I really recognize what that meant and how engaged the entire community was in the process. Single class system was removed before I got to high school, and the only experience that I had similar to that was my first high school game here at Marion High School as a freshman in front of a near capacity crowd. I had dreams of playing in front of big crowds my whole career, and that did not happen. I was part of a 4A team that went to the Final Four. I would trade that experience just for the chance to win a sectional in the single class. I'm hoping sometime to have a son, and I think most parents want their kids' childhood to be better than their own. I would like my son to be able to watch, love, and fall in love with and participate in the single class system. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. My name's Brad Wittering, and I've been a long-time Marion Giant fan ever since they played at the old Coliseum downtown. My dad used to take me down there when I was little, and now I'm fortunate enough to be their video man. And I would like to see it go back to single class, mostly for this reason. I honestly can't see how it can be, on a financial basis, beneficial, because you have to buy 4 state championship trophies, 4 runner-up trophies, all the medals for all of the teams that are there. And also, there was a time, and it hasn't happened in a while, but there was a time we had to go 60 miles to a sectional in Lafayette, which made no sense to me whatsoever. I mean, going 60 miles on a Tuesday night for a sectional game was kind of silly, I thought. And then my only other thing is, if you're absolutely going to keep it class basketball, then I think you should honestly move the Catholic schools and the private schools into a class of their own, because really they have an unfair advantage over the public schools.
Thank you.
Welcome. I'm Ed Kroll. I'm from Kokomo and followed the Kokomo Wildcats for several years. My understanding, at least, is that the multi-class system of basketball was largely, the school administrators are in favor of that because it gives their school a better chance to win a state title. But the problem I have with multi-class basketball is that it dilutes the significance of winning a state championship. If you were state champion with single-class basketball, that meant a great deal throughout the state. You don't get that feeling now, and I think when you lose interest because there's too many champions, it carries over and the fans just become disinterested in going to the games. The other thing that I wanted to say also is that basketball is different from other sports, that you can have a very good team from a small school, and if you've got one or two really outstanding players. And a great example of that would be the Zeller boys who all came out of Washington. I don't know whether it's 1A or 2A or 3A or 4A, but I couldn't help but feel that in this particular case, that school probably, with one of those brothers at least, could have won the state championship if we had single-class basketball. Now, the only other proposal I would have is that I don't like 4 classes. I would prefer if we had to have classes that we go to just 2 classes. And I'd like to give that, throw that out for further consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.